What is happening, people? It's Tottenham versus Chelsea this weekend. London derby should be a tasty one. And I'm joined for this opposition preview by Keith from the Blue Day Pod. How you doing, Keith?
I'm very well, Harry. Thank you very much for having me on. Really pleased to be here, and looking forward to discussing the intense rivalry between Tottenham and Chelsea.
Exactly, that should be very good. Talk to people know a little bit about what you do and what the podcast is about.
Okay, so my little podcast, the Blue Day Podcast, is a show that used to talk about current events, but now I've gone against that and decided to look at more of ex-player interviews. So for the last 5 years, I've been doing interviews with former players that have played for Chelsea, and now the podcast is it's just more to do with interviews. So I've interviewed players that have been at the club from the 60s all the way up to the most present player. Good Lord. Most present player has been about 2011, 2012. So, it's been really enjoyable for me as a Chelsea supporter, as you can see, doing that. And, it's been nice to talk about the history of the football club, talk about, obviously, them as a player. And it's more of a historical podcast than anything else, rather than a ranting and a raving one.
I love that. Yeah, you get so many, don't you, that talk about current events, current games, and looking for that kind of reaction. And it's just nice to have something a bit different. So I like that. Thank you very much, Keith.
No problem.
Today. If you're listening on a podcast platform, so by audio, don't forget to drop us a follow and a 5-star review. If you're listening on YouTube, like and subscribe. Let's get straight into it then, and I want to start with a season review. So for Chelsea in the Premier League, you find yourself 9th place, 14 points from 9 games, plus 6 goal difference. You've got 17 goals scored, 11 conceded. You've won 4, drawn 2 and lost 3. Then in the Champions League, you play 3 games where you've got, you've got 11. Well, you're 11th place after 3 games, 2 wins, 1 defeat. You've got 6 points in total from those 3 and a positive 3 goal difference because you beat Benfica 1-0 in the second game. Third game, you beat Ajax 5-1 after losing the first game 3-1 away against Bayern. Then, of course, you've got the Carabao Cup where you beat Lincoln City 2-1 in round 3. Then round 4, just last night, 4-3 win against Wolves. So, what are your thoughts overall so far?
Harry, how long you got? No, I promise I'll keep this brief. We was never going to push on from last season when we won the Europa Conference League and the World Club Championships, whatever. We was never going to look at going, right, we're now going to go towards the Champions League. We're now going to go towards the Premier League. We are years away from winning it. We don't have a spine. We don't have a nucleus of a squad that is going to compete with Man City, who has been up there for the last God knows how many years. Arsenal, unfortunately, that are starting to really kick on now. And Liverpool, where it's Klopp's team, but Slot's basically chopping it down. So although people will look at it and go, oh, we've spent £1 billion, we've spent all this money. Yeah, we've spent money, but we haven't spent it on ready-made, right, we're going to win the league within the next 3 years. We've bought players in, as it said, in a 5 to 7 year plan. My issue is, and my concern is, we bring players in on 5 to 7 year contracts. We give them the spiel that, yes, come to us, we'll give you this money over a long period and everything else. But it only takes one player to go, that shiny little thing over there called Real Madrid that wins trophies, I'd like to go there. As soon as one player goes, I think you're going to see a group of them decide, you know what, that shiny thing over there, let's go to that. So I'm a little bit wary with that. League form at the moment is not great. There's been a lot of inconsistencies, a lot of ill discipline. That's what you get with a young squad.
That's interesting. No, thank you. Yeah, you're right. Because that's obvious of an outsider as well to go, look, spent this amount of money, but you're right. You've got an incredibly young squad. Do you think the football world are very quick to maybe forget just how young this Chelsea squad is, because Enzo Maresca mentions it a lot, doesn't he? This is still young, we're still progressing. So do you think that's important, maybe, to not just look at the money spent in individual transfer windows and in total under Bowley, but look at what the age of the squad and just how young they are with that lack of experience?
This isn't the Chelsea of 20 years ago. We're not buying players out there like a Ballack, a Deco, a Belletti, a Shevchenko, and Ashley Cole even. We're not buying ready-made players that can elevate the club towards Champions League success. We're buying players to build. We're not buying players to compete with other clubs. We're buying players to build. And the issue is, yes, there's a lot of money that has been spent. Unfortunately, that's the way football has become now, whereby an average Joe is costing £40 million. Whereas 5-10 years ago, that average Joe was costing £10 million. So I think that the inflation has gone extremely up with transfer fees. It's got to the stage where, because they know Chelsea have got money, it's the same with every other Premier League club, especially if you're looking to buy abroad. If they know Premier League clubs got this money, they'll say, right, we'll add another few zeros onto it. And obviously with Chelsea being Chelsea, and with agents the way they are now, it's, okay, Chelsea, this is what they're going to offer you, but let's just sort of add a few notes into your contract. Let's add a few bit. And that's where the money comes from. So we're very good at selling. I'll give the ownership that. We are very good at selling. Unfortunately, we haven't sold every deadwood in that club. But that's because of the amount of money that the same owners have put the deadwood players on when they first arrived. Not going to name any names, but if you know your football, you know who we're talking about. And my issue is right now, our fan base, and I don't know whether outsiders see this, but from where I've seen it on social media and when I've seen it at grounds, our fan base is turning into Arsenal fans from 10 years ago, when they're expecting success. They're expecting. So when we have a defeat, like we did against Sunderland, or before that against Brighton, Maresca must go. These players are tosh. They're rubbish. We need to get rid of them. You weren't saying that when we were beating Liverpool. And that's the problem. The fan base has been used to the Roman Empire. They're not used to this new regime. Or they don't like the new regime because they're not what we was before. It's like a kid at Christmas trying to play Monopoly. When he realises he can't win, what does he do? Throws the board up. Don't want to play no more. It's the same thing.
Exactly. Patience is definitely needed. No, you're right. I mean, that's also, you get that feeling as an outsider, but thank you for that. I mean, overall though, I mean, you say about, you're never going to, for example, compete to win the Premier League, etc. before a ball was kicked. No. But would you say, being honest, that your start to the season's been maybe similar or better or worse than you did expect if we go back just a couple of months?
Now, that's a different question. I was expecting it to be a good season because, again, with how we ended it last season and with all the razzmatazz and the hoo-ha about winning the Club World Championships, to some is a friendly, to others it's not. But it wasn't the fact that we won it, it was more of, we've beaten some decent teams along the way. We've beaten PSG that's just won the Champions League. Yes, they look shattered, I get that. But you still got to beat what's in front of you. We wasn't expecting to win it, and I think that's what's made it a little bit more of, okay, Chelsea's just going to over-promote it. And again, it's an American thing, so they're going to promote something that happened in America. That's fine. My targets for this season was to win one of the domestic trophies, was to qualify out of this league phase of the Champions League, because again, based on what we've got in our team compared to others, we have got a bunch of kids. In regards to experience, when you look at someone like Bayern, PSG, Barca, Madrid, we've got young pups compared to seasoned veterans. So trying to sort of lower the expectations. Yeah, I would very much like to qualify out of this league phase, especially not go through a playoff. I don't think we don't need to go through a playoff. I think we're better from what we've seen. I think we're better than that, but I don't expect us to win it. The Premier League, I'm not going to be one of these guys that will go, we must get top 4, because I was always brought up to be, if you're not first, rest of it doesn't matter. If you're not going to win it doesn't matter. If we finish outside the Champions League places, it wouldn't surprise me. So I think it'll be more of what do other teams do rather than us. Because at the moment there are a lot of good teams right now that are having very good seasons. How are they going to get on? Are Bournemouth going to stick to how they're playing between now and the end of the season? Sunderland, on paper, probably they're just going to drop, but you never know. You just never know. Man United's going to keep winning now. So my expectations was to be competitive against the likes of Liverpool, Man City, and hopefully put Arsenal in their place. Hopefully, that's the thing. I'm not expecting us to win it. I'm not going to say, oh, I really want top 4. No, I don't want to be that sort of supporter. I just want to be competitive. I don't want our league season to finish before Christmas, if that makes sense.
Yeah, definitely. And it's all about, isn't it, as well, juggling all these competitions. You know, you want to be competitive, as you said. You've got Champions League as well. But thank you, Keith. Before we get into the game, Carabao Cup then, you've been drawn with Cardiff City away in the quarter-final. Are you happy with that draw, the only non-Premier League side?
I was happy with Wolves away until what I saw for 45 minutes. So this is the thing. I have no idea what Chelsea are going to turn up from game to game. I have genuinely no idea. I don't know. It's the same Jekyll and Hyde performance as we did against Wolves. We could be playing beautiful football for 45 minutes and we could play absolute dross for another 45 minutes. I'm glad we got Cardiff. We have got a little bit of history with them, more off the pitch than on it. So that'll be kind of tasty to do it near Christmas. I want to win the League Cup. We haven't won it for a long time. I was there the last time we won it, and that was in 2015. We haven't won it since. I think that's overdue. But there's some decent sides still left in the competition. Yeah. I'm glad to get Cardiff out of the way. Let's just see.
Yeah,
Let's just see what happens. Who knows what could happen from the semi-finals from January onwards? There could be an injury picked up by Newcastle. Man City might still be in a dip. So let's see. Let's just get rid of Cardiff first. Get out of Wales as quick as we possibly can. And then, let's get to the semi-finals and see what happens.
Okay, thank you very much. I have to see what happens, but it looks like that pathway's been opened quite nicely. But on to the game. Firstly, how would you describe the rivalry between Chelsea and Tottenham?
Okay. This is the thing with me. I don't class Tottenham as a rival.
Ooh.
The Chelsea-Tottenham rivalry, I don't class Tottenham as a rival. I'm not one of these new age fans that think Tottenham is a rival because of we stopped Spurs winning the league or we chant we hate Tottenham during our song. There's a lot of people that think, oh, Chelsea and Tottenham are rivals, we hate each other. I'm not one of them because for years and years and years, Chelsea and Tottenham might have been level, but then Chelsea went there. Tottenham stayed there. I remember when you had players like Lee Young-Pugh, Timo Tanyo, Jack Santini as a manager. Tottenham were at a certain level. Chelsea were at a certain level. I never saw Tottenham as a rival. We've had players that have gone from Chelsea to Tottenham. We've had players on my show that have gone from Chelsea to Tottenham who have said to me, the reason why we joined Tottenham, we wanted to stay in London, but we never classed Tottenham as a rival to Chelsea. Chelsea's rivals were Arsenal and Man United. That's my way of thinking. Tottenham have got a wonderful stadium. They've got a better stadium than us. I'll give you that. But I just feel that this rivalry's been created over the last 10 years, 15 years, whereas 20 years ago, there was no rivalry. It was just, Tottenham's just another London club. Yeah, we don't like London clubs, but Tottenham's just another one. This is all boiled up to the surface. I think the media's played a huge part in it. The media has played a huge part in it, especially when you guys came over to our place. You needed to win. You were 2-0 up, finished 2-2. That then started the ball rolling with these new age fans that are going, we hate Tottenham. And no, we don't. People of my generation or people of older generation, we don't consider Tottenham as a rival. That might upset a few, but it doesn't. My rival is still Arsenal, Man United. Even Man City I don't consider a rival, personally. But yes, when we play you in the Premier League or in cup matches, of course I want to win, because we've had that caveat of over, Jesus, how long are we talking from 1990 to 2017, Tottenham did not beat us at Stamford Bridge. When you did beat us at Stamford Bridge that time, then it started to go a little bit, okay, now we're starting to see a little bit of a rivalry. You know, there wasn't a rivalry when I would hear stories of Chelsea fans come up to me and say, I remember when we played Tottenham at 3 Point Lane. There was a reason why people were calling it 3 Point Lane. No one's calling that anymore. No one's calling it anymore, which is testament to the way Tottenham have gone from there to there, which is great. That's fine. But the rivalry, I just don't see it. I just think it's more, for me personally, it is more of a media hype.
That's fair enough. Yeah, something that, it's definitely a rivalry. It's grown recently. Yes. I think in particular that game, Battle of the Bridge. I think you're right with that.
Put it this way, I'll put it to you like this. I have a best friend of mine. I will let him know, because he's a Tottenham fan. I've been best friends with him for 25 plus years. If there was a massive rivalry, we wouldn't be best friends. That's the difference. So, because I'm best friends with a Tottenham fan, there is hope for world peace. And if you put it to the media where a Tottenham fan and a Chelsea fan allegedly can't get on, of course they can get on.
Yeah, no, definitely. No, he makes a good point. It's interesting. Not many people may like to hear it, but I think, you make good points. But
Tottenham and Arsenal is a rivalry. Tottenham, West Ham is a rivalry. Tottenham and Chelsea, no. Not for me. Chelsea and Arsenal is a rivalry. Chelsea Man United is a rivalry. Chelsea Leeds, going back decades and decades and decades, that's a rivalry. No. Chelsea Tottenham, no, not for me.
No.
Chelsea Liverpool's a rivalry.
Yeah. Again, it's just, isn't it, about history, and I appreciate your honesty with that. But do you have any past memories that, you can choose good or bad? I assume you choose good for Chelsea playing Spurs.
No, I've got a few bad ones, to be fair. I've got the first time in a long time Tottenham beat Chelsea at White Hart Lane. I'll never forget it. It was under Jose. McAlady scored a screamer. Then you had, good Lord, now I'm gonna remember the goal. I'm gonna miss the goal scorers. Dawson was one of them, I think, and Aaron Lennon. That ruined my weekend. To see us lose to Tottenham, and again, I know I've just said that they're not a rival, but again, you're like, okay, we're at Tottenham, we're playing White Hart Lane, it's an easy win. John Terry gets sent off, and you're like, really, what? And it's against Tottenham. So that annoyed me. The one when you beat us at Stamford Bridge and we had Conte, I don't remember who you had as manager. Might have been Pochettino.
Not been.
Might have been Pochettino. That annoyed me a little bit, because it wasn't just, it's against Tottenham. It's like, we don't lose to Tottenham at Stamford Bridge. And I was proud of that record when it was from 1990, from 20. I was proud of that record. A good one, obviously, Tottenham. I don't want to brag to Tottenham fans, but when we beat you boys at the League Cup final That was cool. I was front row. That was it. That was one of my best cup finals. But to be honest, although I said about there's no rivalry, the games are intense because both teams, don't matter how many players come and go out of both football clubs, they don't want to lose it. Tottenham players do not want to lose to Chelsea. I've seen Harry Kane by absolute anger at his own players when they conceded against Chelsea. I've seen Kane out on the pitch. He's fuming. He does not want to lose to Chelsea. I've seen Chelsea players shout at each other. I've heard stories of Chelsea players fighting with each other because Tottenham have done well in 45 minutes or Tottenham have managed to get a draw. So, yeah, there is that needle in the game. And it's exciting. It's exciting for those that watch it on TV. It's exciting for those that are there. And I have no idea who's going to win. I have no idea what Chelsea side's going to turn up. I have been impressed with Tottenham. I watched Tottenham last week against Everton. I thought you guys were very, very good. And I'm a big fan of Thomas Frank. I like how Thomas Frank organises his team, how he motivates his players. I'm a big, big fan of Thomas Frank. That worries me. Not the crowd, not the stadium, not the players. It's the coach that worries me.
No, it's an interesting point. Thomas Frank is definitely a good coach. But Keith, if there's one Spurs player, like no more, no less, that you'd like think you'd take at Chelsea right now, who would it be?
Current.
Ooh.
I don't mind Van der Ven.
Yeah.
I don't mind Van der Ven. Our defence isn't great, and I think weaknesses. Yeah, I would get rid of those weaknesses if I was offered Van der Ven tomorrow for 100 million. I'd say, yeah, make the bid. We won't get him, but yeah, I would be happy with Van der Ven. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much. So on the in particular game, how do you feel about it? What are your thoughts going into it?
This is a terrible cliche because everybody uses it. The first goal is going to be key, but I don't think it's who scores it. I believe it's when it is. So if it's really early in the game, that's going to set the atmosphere between whether it's home end or the away supporters. The longer it goes 0-0, I think both teams will be a little bit more cautious. I think both sets of supporters will be a little bit more cautious. It is a game you don't want to make a mistake in, especially when you've got screaming Chelsea fans behind you or a whole host of a stadium of Tottenham fans screaming at you. The first goal is key, but I think it's when. If it's scored within the first 10 minutes, that I think will set what happens during the course of the match. If Tottenham score, I can see Tottenham scoring again. If Chelsea score, I mean, at the moment, I can't see Chelsea. I can't see Chelsea keeping clean sheet. So it'll either be a 1-1 or a 2-1 either way. But I think it'll be a very tight affair.
Okay, thank you very much. Definitely agree with you. Share that with the first goal and when it is crucial in any London derby. But Keith, I've got to ask you about Liam Delap because he is unavailable for this game after receiving 2 yellow cards against Wolves. Maresca was very strong and bold, wasn't he, with his wording, how it was embarrassing, it was poor, he spoke to him, he's disappointed, and he even said, didn't he, how he thinks he plays for himself or not others. Was his wording harsh, and did you expect that, or do you think he's probably right?
I think Delap's probably got a date planned the weekend, which is why he didn't really want to play. Might be. I don't think Enzo's wrong to say it because, again, Delap's been out injured. He's just come back. He was on the bench. He's had a cameo, literally, and he makes 2 foolish mistakes. Real mistakes. You know, it's nothing to do with him being lack of fitness. It's got nothing to do with him trying to get into the game. He made 2 rotten mistakes. That's naivety. That's not a seasoned veteran that's been for the last 20 years. That's a naive player. But to be fair, it's not. If it was the lap that was, if this was our only red card of the season, yeah, fair enough. How many? It's what, 4 or 5 now. I think there is a bit of an issue in regards to the ill discipline. I think Enzo needs to sort that out ASAP. He should have nipped it in the bud before, but he hasn't, obviously. And that's going to be a problem, especially when who we're playing against, Tottenham away. When you're going to need to put challenges in, you're going to need to sort of let the other team know that you're there. Players are going to pick up yellow cards on Saturday. It's how you manage yourself. It's how you manage within the team to not get another yellow. And I don't think it's the same incident as Jackson, where Jackson came on and within 2 minutes he was sent off. I don't think it's that. I think Delap's a bit more brainier than that. Not by much, but a little bit. So Delap's got a lot to get back into the team, but the only issue we've got is we don't have many centre forward options to rely on.
No, you definitely don't.
That's our problem. Tyreek George, if he plays him as a centre forward, that's wrong because he's not a centre forward. And Mark Guiu, the young guy that we bought from Barcelona a couple of years ago, he's very raw indeed. So that'll be a bit of a wake-up call, a bit of a test for him against Tottenham at the weekend.
Thank you. I have to see who does start the game. Getting to line up in a little bit. But are any Spurs players that you fear that could cause Chelsea the most problems? You speak about your centre-backs being a problem at the moment. I think, assume that's you were thinking due to injury. You're definitely missing quite a few. So is there any maybe Tottenham attackers you fear? Because Tottenham haven't been hitting the front going forward, but we've got the likes of Mohamed Kudus, who is on fire at the moment.
It was fun. I was, again, chatting to my best pal of 25 years who's a Tottenham fan. I forgot you guys still had a Dominic Solanke. Because I said, where the hell's he been? And he went, he's been injured. I'm like... So he would have been a threat if he was available. I literally, generally forgot you guys still had him. I'm going to be defensive. I think... The one that bothers me, not just Van de Ven, is your goalkeeper, because I think your goalkeeper's been better from last season to this season. I think he is a better goalkeeper this season. He is the one that I fear more. Personally, I don't fear any Tottenham attackers. Simons, if he starts, he might have a little bit of he'll probably play his best game because we should have signed him. And that one did annoy me when he ended up going to Tottenham. That frustrated me a little bit because I thought Simons is a very good player. At the moment, he hasn't hit it off at Tottenham. I'm hoping that will still be the case after Saturday. But personally, I think the two players that I fear most out of your team is goalkeeper and centre half.
Okay.
The rest of them, I am, to be honest, I would be content with. They'll be like, okay, let's see how they get on.
Fair enough. I didn't expect you to go with the goalkeeper, but he's definitely been better this year, so it did surprise me for Vicario. But no, he's definitely leaps and bounds from last year to this year. Well, even though he's made mistakes, I think he's recovered from it and proved why he is Tottenham's number one, because there was a conversation going before the last couple of games, should he still be the number one? But I think that's been shut down now. But to flip the question, Keith, who do you think can hurt Spurs from Chelsea?
I would like to say VAR. That might be the best. That might be the best option. Estival, if he starts, because he is going to be one of the best players in the world in maybe 5 years' time. If he carries on the way he is going to be a superstar. He probably won't be a superstar at Chelsea by the time he gets there, but we're more than happy to have him between now and then. He would be my danger man. He would be the one that I would go, don't just get one player on him, get two. Get two players to mark him. He would be one of them. Probably look at Caicedo, depending again who he's got next to him. If it's Enzo Fernandez, and Tottenham have got runners in midfield, that's going to cause us a problem. But Caicedo, yeah, he has been something else this season. Really, really top player.
Yeah, he's been excellent offensively and defensively as well. That's the thing. He's added that goal-scoring element to his game.
Yes.
Hasn't he? Yeah. Keith, I'll come to you firstly, we'll get onto your team in a little bit, but what do you think Enzo Maresca will actually go with 1 to 11 on the day?
Ooh. Depends who's injured and who's suspended. Sanchez in goal, I can imagine. Cucurella left back. Chalobah was rested last night, so he'll probably come back into it. He does like Tosan rather than Fofana, so I would probably go with Tosan at the back. Right back, see, I don't know. I think he might go with Gusto at right back and put James in midfield like he did against Forest, and then he'll have James and Caicedo with Enzo Fernandez as a 10 and João Pedro up front. He might do that with Garnacho one side, potentially Esteval, or if it's not Esteval, it'll be Pedro Neto on the other. But I think for Saturday he might put James in midfield again.
That'd be interesting to see. Thank you, Keith. But if you were Enzo Maresca, literally, you were the Chelsea manager and you were in control of the team, what would be your lineup and formation? Talk me through it for this game.
I would recall the goalkeeper from Strasbourg and have him in goal, personally. I know that ain't going to happen. No, I would probably have Sanchez, unfortunately. Cucurella definitely left back. I would have James right back where he should be. I'd have Fofana and I'd have Chalobah. Midfield, I'd have Caicedo and Lavia. I'd have Garnacho, Esteval, Neto as my 3, and I'd have João Pedro up top.
Thank you very much. What have you made of João Pedro? Because I don't think he's got many goals at all, has he? But what have you made of his performances?
When he first came in, he looked brilliant. He was really, really good. I was a big fan of his when he was at Brighton. I even heard about him even before, when he was at Watford, and even when Watford bought him from Fluminense. I've been a fan of him since then. Yeah. I think that Pedro, he started off as a striker, but I don't think Enzo's a fan of him playing as a leading man. He prefers Pedro as a 10. So, again, it's a new season. It's a new team. I think let's just see how he gets on. I'm going to reserve judgment of him over the course of the season. Let's just see how he gets on from that.
Okay, I like that. Thank you very much. And before we get to some end of season predictions, what's your score prediction and who do you think's going to score?
It wouldn't surprise me if it was 1-1. First goal scorer. I'll go Enzo Fernandez.
For Chelsea? Okay. Do you take the lead? I'll take that. We'll come back.
This is it. I don't know if we will take the lead. I have no idea. I don't know how we're going to set up. I can see us scoring, but I can see us conceding. So if we go 1-0 up, I can't see us keeping a clean sheet. If we go 1-0 down, I can see us striving and obviously getting towards the final thirds a lot. And it depends on where he plays Enzo Fernandez. If he plays him as a 10 or if he plays him dropping in with Caicedo. Okay,
thank you for that. And then before we end, we'll do some end of season predictions. So both clubs, Premier League and Champions League. Firstly, your club Chelsea. Where do you think you'll finish if you had to put your neck on the line in the Premier League?
At the start of the season, I said top 3. I'm going to say top 4, but I have no idea in what position.
Okay, no, that's fair enough. What about Champions League then? You say you don't think you have enough to win it, but you definitely think you'll progress automatically.
I would be disappointed if we don't reach the last 16.
Okay, that's fair enough. And my club then, Tottenham. Where do you think we're finished firstly in the Premier League?
Well, I miss the days when you used to finish 15th and 16th on a regular basis. So when you guys finished in last season, it was like, it's like 2003, 2004 all rolled into one again. So, no, I jest. I'm jest. With Thomas Frank, you guys, I can't see you guys finishing that low. I think you'll finish top 6.
Okay.
I do generally think, but purely because I think with Van de Ven, once Romero's back, whether he's suspended or whether he's injured, if you've got him and Van de Ven and you've got Vicario, they're difficult to beat. I know you've got a little bit of duds around, but if you settle with that spine and then you build up, I think Thomas Frank's a smart guy. And he'll know if Romero is going to stay at Tottenham for as long as you can possibly keep him. See how your season goes. Again, you guys are in the Champions League, so it depends on how you guys get on with your fixtures, how things get on with the league season. Depends if you buy anybody in January as well, because that can come into effect. I think for Tottenham it won't be as bad as last season. I think I can see you guys finishing top 6.
Okay, I think I'd take that. I think the majority of the Spurs fan base would. But what about Spurs in the Champions League? Is the same aim, do you think, to get to the round of 16, or is that maybe a little bit too far for Tottenham in the first year under Frank?
My heart says I hope you guys finish bottom, but I know that's not going to happen. That's a good question. I can see you guys going through the playoffs.
Right, not to hate.
No.
Okay.
No.
Fair enough. Only thing I would say is we seem to have the easier draw.
I know, but to be fair, this is Tottenham.
Fair enough. We don't do things the easy way.
Not me personally. I'm only going by what the media's saying. This is Tottenham.
No, it's true. We definitely make things hard, even if we do get the job done. But Keith, it's been a real pleasure to talk to you today. Tell people where they can find you and also your podcast.
Oh, Harry, it's been a pleasure to. Thank you very much for having me on. Right, so the podcast, you can find it, if you do like your history, you can find my podcast on all available podcast platforms, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon. You can find it on there. Find us on X at Blue Day Pod. Find us on Instagram at Blue Day Podcast. We do try to upload as many historical stuff as we possibly can. We do an interview roughly once a month, so we try and get as many interviews done as we possibly can. But yeah, if you like a little bit of football history, take the Chelsea out of it, but if you like your football history, come give us a follow and listen to some classic stories.
Great stuff. Thank you very much. If you're listening via podcast platform, via audio, don't forget to drop us a follow and a 5-star review. If you listen on YouTube and you're new, like, subscribe. Also check out Keith and his podcast. Thank you very much. And Keith, you won't like this, but come on, you Spurs, for the game.